across the street from University of Phoenix Stadium, where again in 6 days, the Vince Lombardi trophy that is chilling out in the lobby of the Rich Eisen Hotel right now will be handed out to either New England or to Seattle for the second straight year in a row. And somebody who knows about winning Super Bowls in consecutive years, Willie McGinest, still here on the show. He's sitting in between to his left, Rod Woodson. Good to see you again, Rod Woodson.
Good to see you.
And welcome to the program, Ed Reed.
Glad to be here, Rich.
Good to see you, Ed Reed.
Glad to be here.
Now, I saw you after the Super Bowl that you won in your hometown of New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I've never seen you as emotional as you were.
Yeah.
You were in tears.
Yeah.
You know, and you came to the set, there's Deion Marshall and Marshall, and I'm sitting there. What was it like for you to lift that trophy that's sitting right here and call yourself a champion, Ed Reed? What was that like?
It was a blessing. You know, it was a blessing, and to do it in front of the home crowd was just an exclamation point on my whole career. You know, it was awesome to battle through with your teammates. You know, everything you go throughout a year, everything that you go through. You know, it was awesome to host that trophy, man.
You know, and it's interesting, Rod. Most people would think Ed won the Super Bowl with you.
Yeah.
With the Ravens, because we talk about how, you know, you had the greatest defense of all time, and people would just put two and two together. Of course, Ed Reed had to have been part of that.
Yeah.
But
I get that a lot, too,
you
man.
Do?
Everybody think I was on that 2000 team. It'd probably be the gray hairs.
You do have the gray hairs, but Ed, it's freaking me out, man. I don't think of you as a gray beard or gray-haired man. You got gray hair.
I've been having these gray hairs since high school, man.
Really?
College, yeah. It's been coming in there for a while, so I just never cover it up.
I like it. You're natural. You don't do the Grecian formula.
No, not at all.
You're not just from Manning.
If I get the commercial, the endorsement, man.
Is that what you're doing? Is you're going gray just to maybe get a little JFM
gray.
action?
I'm just waiting for them to be like, hey, Ed, how about we cover that up and, you know,
throw you some bucks.
You're still young.
Throw you some bucks.
You're still young.
What was it like, Rod Woodson, playing on that greatest defense of all time? That Ed
it was a process. You know, I got there in '98. We weren't that good. Matter of fact, we were 6-10 the first year, and Mark Gibrota was still the coach for the Baltimore Ravens, and then he leaves, and then Brian Billick comes in, and we finished 8-8, 500 the second year.
Yep.
And in the third year, it clicked. We got rid of a couple guys, got some guys in, got Dwayne Starks, got Chris McAllister that year. He's a rookie. Yeah. I moved to safety the previous year, so kind of everything that's kind of blended in. We had two big guys, and Tony and Sam Adams in the middle, and we had some rushers on the outside. We had, I think the key for us, we had leaders at every position. We had leaders at the D-line, you know, Ray Lewis at the linebacker position, then we had leaders in the secondary. So it kind of all came together at one moment.
Rod Woodson, Willie McGinest, Ed Reed, all sitting here at once. This is fantastic. Where do we fit the Seahawks defense into this conversation of greatest of all time? Willie, can we fit them? Do we fit them in this right now? Can we make that statement right here and right now about this defense?
I think when you talk about the greatest, you have to have consistency over a period of time. And I think that they're in the conversation, but they're not quite there yet. And the hardest part is keeping all the players, the nucleus together. Now with free agency and winning Super Bowls and playing so well, guys leave and go to other teams. But the way they play, and I think Rod just said it best, you got to have playmakers on every level. So they got a D-line. You look at the linebacking core, and then you look at the Legion of Boom. They got consistent playmaking along the entire front. But they're definitely in the conversation, and let's just see how long they can continue the way they play.
How good is Earl Thomas, Ed Reed?
He's really good, man. He's really good. His patience, more than anything back there, you know, is what I'm so excited about.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, just the way he sits in between those hashes, you know, and wait to the ball, wait to react to the play, you know, and don't let, you know, plays get behind him. You know, that's one of the things that I talked about with Earl, you know, but to actually seeing him doing that consistent, you know, and being that safety back there to direct things, you know, Rock can tell you about that. You know, communication, something we was talking about in the back, but I heard Willie talking to Luke about. Communication is the key, you know, on defense to be able to be successful the way they have. You know, Earl has definitely been that quarterback on that side.
When you say you spoke to Earl Thomas, you mean?
Oh, yeah, I speak to him a good bit.
But did he reach out to you? Did you reach out to him?
Yeah, it's pretty much both. You could say that.
Both.
You could say it's both, yeah. We both reached out to these two.
And Richard Sherman, Rod, what do you think of his game?
I like his game. I mean, I like their defense. You know, they don't do a whole bunch. Right. They run cover 3, which is a strong rotation with the safety going out to the strong side. or they're going to run 5, which is a weak rotation, and they'll play a little man, and that's it. That's all they do, and they're really good at it. You know, when you're only giving up 9.8 points a game in the last 6 games.
That's a ridiculous number.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's a ridiculous number.
Only 13 points in the second half.
Especially since we're in this day and age, right, where you're supposed to be running, where all the rules are to help the offense run up the scoreboard and fantasy football, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
What they are doing is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's true. With all the rule changes and everything nowadays, I mean, I know y'all didn't have all that, you know,
right.
but just from
They
a
started putting
defensive
them in.
standpoint, yeah, I mean, you had Ty Law on that outside, you know, pressing guys up, you know, so it's a big difference for those guys to be doing what they're doing. You know, you definitely, like Willie said, you got to put them in that conversation. Best defense.
But you're not ready to do that yet.
No.
What if they beat Brady on Sunday?
Well, I mean, I'm saying
That means that'd be back-to-back Super Bowls,
Right.
And then this is, you know, Bobby Wagner's been there, as Luke Kuechly mentioned, since they came in together. Right. I mean, that would be 3 years now that they've done this Legion of Booming and the NASCAR package on the defensive
How
line.
many years? My question would be, how many years
that's the question
do they have
before you say all time? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lot of really good defenses,
Well,
right?
Rod, you mentioned it started in '98, and you really weren't that good. And you won
Right.
it in 2000, and then obviously the next year you still had most of the core, and then your buddy Elvis Gerback came along. I know
was
you
it
love
one
him
year?
that much.
Michigan
yeah, but
guy
you're only
came
talking
along.
about 1 year for them.
But you know, yeah, I mean, I think the key for us is that we shattered the scoring record. So, you know, we beat the 86 Bears defensive scoring record, points allowed, by 20-something points.
But you guys won the Super Bowl.
And we won the Super
And they
Bowl.
didn't win the Super Bowl.
But what I love about this team is that for 3 straight years, they're the #1 scoring defense in the National Football League.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at this team, they're long, they're big, they're tall.
Yeah.
I mean, in the middle, the linebackers, the D-line, and their secondary outside of Earl, they're all tall guys, big guys.
Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor is.
He's no joke. I mean, him versus Gronk. Will we see that? Is that a
That's the
matchup we're going to see?
That's the matchup I want to see.
Yeah, I'm with Willie.
That's
I'm
the
with Willie.
matchup I want to see.
I think the key is for Cam, everybody talks about his Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Is his coverage. So can he cover him? That's going to be a key. That's going to be a great challenge for
I'm
him
with Willie
individually.
too. Willie mentioned somebody else putting their hands on him and then letting the safety do his job. Even me, I wanted somebody to hit him first before he comes off the line with all that steam. You know, you want to slow him down, make him start again, a big guy like that, you know, to help Cam out. He's not going to be able to do it by himself.
Tight ends hate that. Like when we used to play against Tony Gonzalez, whether it's Gates, even Sharp. When those guys are at the line, they want to get free. They want to come off the line clean. They want to get into the backfield.
Right.
So when you beat them up, I'm not saying I'm gonna run you down or whatever, but we had certain techniques where I would jam you and then I would play trail technique, which means I would follow behind you. So I would undercut all the quick outs and in routes, but we had a safety over the top. So a quarterback has to be really good to fit the ball in over me, in between the safety on top.
Yeah.
So you got to find different ways to harass, you know, guys like Gronk.
The quarterback's either got to be good or have a football with the proper PSI to his liking.
Hey, man, that's funny, man. That's funny.
Ed Reed and Rod Woodson are going to stick around. Willie, it's great having you
Shots.
here, man. No, you know I think it's
You're gonna
stupid.
get there, right? Oh,
You know, I think-
I'm tired of talking about it myself.
This PSI stuff is driving me nuts. Rod Woodson and Ed Reed are going to stay here. Willie, I'll see you at the NFL Network compound later in the week, I'm sure.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.